Hey guys, it's Bex here, and I'm back once again with my good friend Mike Perrine of EverydayDetox. And in this video, we're discussing eggs, soy, hormones, and cancer. What's your risk? Watch and remember to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below.
I want to talk about a very specific question, but it's a big issue because it was something.
White and gold. It is white and gold. It is not black and blue. Okay, and all those people that say it's black and blue are trying to be cool
This
or
joke is
something.
so tired.
Yeah,
it's so
well,
tired. Soy. Let's move on. Soy. So there's a great divide. Soy, is it good? Is it bad? Is it ruining women and turning them into monsters? Like what's happening with soy? What do you think about it?
Soy in moderate to small amounts is great, just like they do in most Asian countries, and they don't seem to be having any problems. I think that we go overboard with everything. And soy, soy has a lot of plant estrogen in it. So can it affect our hormonal systems? Definitely.
What's the real backlash about? Because now there's bloggers that are like soy free, and if something comes up in a product, like people are freaking out and saying like if soy comes up, they're like, you shouldn't use that at all. And I mean, I'm the same with you. It's like, okay, I can incorporate it into my diet, especially as an alternative to meat. People were like, I like, to have like a little soy product, like I'll have tofu instead of meat and I'll replace it in this meal, or I'll have soy milk instead of dairy, maybe in my cereal. So I'm okay with that. I think that that's perfectly fine.
I'm with you 100% on that. I think that people do things in excess, though. I mean, look, tempeh is a fermented soy product, amazing. Tofu, technically, it's sort of, people call it a fractured food because it's been processed a little bit. Very little. I think it's a great food. And edamame, soybeans, great food. But when people are looking to eat isolated soy protein, soy milk, these things in their meat products, and they're looking to do this daily. Like they're making spaghetti and soy meatballs, and then they're eating a burger that has soy something in it, and they're having soy milk in their breakfast cereal in the morning that might have soy flour in it and all that.
Yeah.
Like we've done it to death because we go, okay, meat bad, now we do soy. But we need to have more variety in our diets is the thing.
I mean, okay, so this is just the rule then. Have variety in your diet. Try to eat mostly real foods. If you are in transition or you want to substitute for something that you really love and you feel like you can't live without, replace it with something that's slightly better. Why is this so hard?
Here's one important thing though. Processed soy is absolute garbage. Soy milk is disgusting. I've made fresh tofu, fresh soy milk. I worked as a natural food chef. I've made it from the beginning. Soy milk in its fresh natural form, it's fresh, but it's like bean juice. It doesn't taste good. What makes soy milk taste amazing is they emulsify oil and sugar into it.
Okay.
That's what makes it taste good. We can do that with anything. It's basically fat and sugar, and that's what we like.
Yeah, but talk to me about disaster when you say disaster and what that means to people. Because this is where I think that people get confused. So you say soy milk is a disaster, soy and infant formula is a disaster. What does disaster mean?
It means we're taking a natural food that is, we're taking a natural food and we're refining it into something that causes obstruction in the body.
Okay.
So when we take all this refined oil and sugar and we blend it all together with the bean protein and we drink it down, it's not an apple. It's not spinach.
So final verdict on soy.
Miso, phenomenal food. Tempeh, pretty good. Tofu, it's okay. Edamame, excellent.
I really want to talk about eggs.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a touchy subject for me because you're a vegan, so you don't eat eggs. I'm a chicken owner.
Yes.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
I think it's great.
So I have chickens. We do not eat the chickens. However, we do eat chicken, not our chickens. And we have eggs. And that is something that I would eat eggs every single day. I love eggs. I think that they're the world's perfect food. Because they taste great.
As it was always taught in nutrition, that egg is the perfect food.
Why is that?
It's because of its protein, complete protein. It has a lot of things that nutritional science valued, especially in the early part of nutritional science.
I really don't want to see any comments about eggs being chicken periods. I'm well aware. Like people think that when they say that to me, that I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like I've seen an egg come out of a chicken. I know what's happening. I know the whole process. That does not bother me to eat a chicken period. They are probably not fertilized eggs. They might be at this point because I might be eating a chicken
Embryo.
Yeah.
Why? Because you leave them out there too long, and the
Well,
rooster comes and does its thing on
No,
them.
the rooster does the thing on them before they come out.
Oh,
Do
I
you know
don't.
how it happens? Do you know
n-
how a
I
chicken gets pregnant?
no, I don't.
So chickens don't have sex organs like humans. So he basically has this kind of jelly or stuff. I don't want to explain this. He basically like rubs it on the opening of the female chicken, and that's
Okay.
what happens. So she becomes fertilized that way. There's no like they don't connect.
Uh-huh.
And then the egg is fertilized, and she has the egg. So she's fertilized, and then the eggs come out fertilized.
So okay, so the eggs are always fertilized within the chicken's body, and they come out. They just don't develop if you snatch them up quickly enough.
Right. And you don't have to. So you're not. I mean, you're getting a fertilized egg, but it doesn't necessarily have. It doesn't have anything inside. It looks like a regular egg. So it's nothing like weird or gross to someone who is okay with eating eggs. So fertilized eggs, you'll never know the difference. And there is a remote chance that if you're buying like free range chicken eggs or something from the grocery store, that you might get a fertilized egg. Usually they don't keep the roosters with the chickens, but it goes farmer by farmer. So if you're doing like pasture raised, all of that, you might get a fertilized egg.
Okay, so the egg. So they don't keep the roosters near the hens. So generally they're not fertilized, but yours are because you have a rooster running
Because
around.
I have a rooster, but you don't need a rooster to get eggs.
Right.
The hens will lay them anyway.
You just need a rooster to get chicks.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I got it.
So in that regard, like an egg is like a chicken period, because they're going to have the egg no matter what. Like a woman will have her period whether a man is near or not.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
So anyway, I don't know why we went off onto that. But eggs. So I eat them. I like them. I think they're nutritious. What we were talking about is how to eat an egg. Is it an obstruction? Is it messing with the V equals P minus O equation that we talked about in another video? So I'm not going to get back into it.
It does. Yeah, it's an animal food, and especially egg whites can be very congesting and mucus forming. They're very high in protein. Animal protein versus plant protein. There's a very significant difference. In the podcast, I think it was number 3. I did Dr. Fred Bishy. We were talking about cancer, and he was talking about in that podcast how animal protein, especially excess animal protein, can increase human growth hormone. And that not only speeds up the growth of our own bodies. You see all the bodybuilders, like, they're always like, they're taking things that will promote, they're eating lots of protein, first of all. And sometimes they take supplements that will stimulate human growth hormone. And you see how big their muscles get.
Right.
You see people like me, where I'm eating like apples and pistachios and stuff for lunch. When I lift, I definitely put on more muscle, but I'm never going to look like that, right? Because I don't take an animal protein. But it not only increases healthy cells to grow, but it stimulates cancer cells to grow. So what they find is there's a direct correlation between animal protein and cancer for a variety of reasons, but that's one of them. And then there was that study I showed you. I think it was from Diet for a New America. It was from, I think it was a 1977 Japanese study where he was showing the effects of different dairy products on a population of people, on a population of women in relationship to breast cancer. And the more eggs that somebody eats a week, the higher their incidence of breast cancer. I think it went from almost a 2 times chance to a 3 times increase.
Is that the eggs, though?
Well, it is the eggs, but it's hard to say with studies. Studies are they can teach us something, but they're always a little tricky because you have to. I didn't look at the details. We can probably look this study up and do that if we wanted to. But what were those people eating? So you eat eggs, but you also eat salads and smoothies and juices, and you exercise and you breathe clean air, and you know what I mean? I don't know who was eating these eggs. It was done in the 70s. What did people do when they ate eggs in the 70s? They would eat, eggs on a bun with some bacon. They would eat bacon and eggs. They would eat eggs inside of...
Even now, they might be eating an egg McMuffin.
An egg McMuffin, you know what I mean? So there are ways to eat animal foods to balance them out. So when we look at the studies that show these correlations, is there truth to it? Definitely.
I'm anticipating so many comments. All the time when we make these videos, I'm just anticipating the comments. And I know someone's going to get really angry about that.
There's this video on, I think Vice put it out. I think it was one of their Munchies series. And I learned so much from these people, especially the powerlifting people and the weight trainers. And there's this one woman, she eats, I think it's 150 eggs a week, plus all this protein and stuff. And she eats some oats and like, I think a banana or something like that. But like she eats 150 eggs a week. Now, she can probably snap me in half.
So disgusting.
But first of all, I would not want to use the bathroom after her. Second of all, I don't know what is going to go down with her body in the next 10 to 15 years.
Well,
I mean,
you know what? That gets into a whole other discussion, because how many times have I seen either some kind of Dove advertisement or some kind of other like body positive advertisement where they have all of these women and they'll have power lifter, supermodel, bodybuilder, ballerina, you know, it goes and listen. It's like, you know, all of these women are athletes. All of these women are healthy. And then as soon as they go with like, this is healthy, then I have to say I beg to differ, because I know what it takes to make that body, and what you're putting into your body to create that is not healthy. It is not conducive to having a long life and good sustainable health and being active and maintaining joint health and, you know, all of that, bone health. And that's a whole other issue.
yeah, strength is not the same thing as health.
No.
Yeah.
So egg whites, because you want more protein, because you want more muscle, because you want to like build this body. That's not about being healthy. That's about achieving a certain look and achieving a certain level of performance in the here and now. So get your head around that.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember, we love to hear your thoughts, so leave them in the comments section below. To watch more from our podcast and other videos in my nutrition series on YouTube, you can go ahead and click the video thumbnail right there on your screen, or click on the link in the video description. I love you guys, and I will see you soon in another BEXLIFE video.